So that's what I wanted to say on the Cyprus issue. And particularly what I want to reassure you is that I will take on board all those convergences, positive convergences that have been achieved, particularly during the period of when Mr. Talat was on board, and build on that, because I think there's been some positive convergence. And if there's been one or two things that perhaps there was no unanimity, particularly on the side of the Greek Cypriot community, we can look at that. I don't think that's a stumbling point, really, not to move forward. And I will not, and I want to underline that, I will not repeat the same mistakes of the past, that is, to burn the forest for the sake of a single tree, which has been perhaps a recurring exercise in the past. Turning now to the economy of Cyprus. There's no question that we're going through a lot of difficulty. We're going through a lot of difficulty for a number of reasons. There's the main reason that Cyprus has economic problems is the fact that it's linked across to the European economy. It is also what I call an oligofaceted economy. It's an economy that is based only on a few main economic arteries, 3 or 4 in particular, and those are really having some difficulty, particularly a couple of them. However, the biggest problem that has really caused this economic upheaval is the fact that we've had major crisis in the banking sector. You're all aware that the scale, or the comparison rather, of the problem from one side of the state budget and the other side of the losses of the banking sector is disproportionately higher, much higher. It's about 1 in 10. So the state is 10 times smaller than the banking sector in Cyprus. So clearly, huge losses that occur in the banking sector because of its exposure in the Greek economy have caused this massive problem. The line we're taking at the moment, of course, as you all know, is to reach an agreement from one hand, the state to be financed by the European support mechanism, and from the other hand is for the banks to be recapitalized through a parallel mechanism, which I hope to be agreed by the Euro Group in the next few weeks or months. That is the line we're taking, that's the line we're supporting. I will not get into the details of the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, that's currently being debated. As you're all aware, tomorrow Troika is here, so I think the government will look at the details of how the negotiation proceeds. Our top priority, of course, is to find an arrangement whereby we refinance the state and the banks from the European support mechanism. That is our top priority. However, if one looks at the structure of the Cypriot economy, as I said, it's immediately obvious that resolving the problem of the state financing and also refinancing of the banks is not the end of the story. We need to look how we kickstart the economy. And here is where I think optimism comes into play. The Cypriot economy is a small economy, as you all know, and it can kickstart itself pretty easily. We've had very good signs in terms of the upturn in tourism industry. I think there's strong interest now in revitalizing the construction industry. Those are the two main sectors that have been feeding the economies, particularly the state budget, with substantial income. We need to focus on them. We cannot think of transforming the Cypriot economy in a couple of years into a multifaceted economy. However, we need to invest massively. That's my own promise. We need to invest massively in other sectors like R&D, which we can be extremely good, but we're not really exploiting and capitalizing on the human resources we have in Cyprus. And finally, we need to take full advantage of the natural gas discoveries that, as you're all aware, have been thankfully found because of some very careful management of this issue by the present government. So phase one of the Cypriot economy is to revitalize the sectors that are currently under recession and open up the new sectors like R&D. And also the shipping industry we can also expand. And phase two is take full advantage of the exploitation of the natural gas. And I want to say a few things on that. Cyprus is exercising the sovereign right, of course, to exploit the natural gas. And no single state on earth has any right to jeopardize that exercise. Unfortunately, again, Turkey has tried to interfere with this process. We will spearhead and move forward with this, with the second round of licensing of the various blocks without too much soapbox exercise, shall we speak. You know, we're not going to be debating in public what we're doing in relation to how we exploit our natural gas, but we will exercise our sovereign right and as quickly as possible to come to an arrangement with companies that are interested. And I welcome the interest shown by companies from countries represented in this table. We want to really see this negotiation concluded as quickly as possible and move ahead with it with the remaining blocks. It is important for us, of course, to exploit the natural gas for a number of reasons. We think this has a strategic and political advantage for Cyprus. We think also that it's creating some pressure for the resolution of the Cyprus problem, and I see the exploitation of the natural gas as a great opportunity for the two communities to come together, because, as I'm sure you're aware, the Turkish Cypriot community in particular will want to be an equal beneficiary of the proceeds of the natural gas. So there will be a societal pressure on the part of the Turkish Cypriot community, which is now living under a subsidy from Turkey to pressurize and resolve the Cyprus problem as quickly as possible. So I see there's clearly a link, a strong link with the resolution of the Cyprus problem. And I say that because I've said earlier on that one way of pressuring Turkey is through the accession negotiations and the full membership of the European Union. But if that fails, then we have to have plan B, and that's we have to have a parallel plan. And of course, the resolution of the exploitation, rather, of the natural gas clearly will create a societal pressure within Cyprus for Turkey, within Cyprus, and particularly on the part of the Turkish Cypriot community, to resolve the Cyprus issue and become part of or rather enjoy the benefits of natural gas. And of course, if we resolve the Cyprus problem, we have no problem whatsoever to collaborate with Turkey on this issue. There is one or two stumbling blocks, in particular for the demarcation of the exclusive economic zone, which we have that Turkey objects to. So if we resolve the Cyprus problem, I'm sure this can also be a bridge, if you like, for strengthening our commercial links with Turkey, and we have no inhibition to that whatsoever, provided that is for the interest of peace and stability in the region, and not in any way for getting involved in the internal affairs of the Cyprus state. So I think I said enough. I want to assure you that the next government, if I'm the lucky one to win the election, will have continuous links and discussion with member states, particularly those that we have strong bilateral links, but we have good links with everybody, just about everybody on this table. There is a what I call a Euro-Mediterranean dimension to our foreign policy, and some of you are very much aware there is a global international policy that not just relates to the resolution of the Cyprus problem, but relates to what I call external economic diplomacy that extends to the whole of the globe, and I want to really follow that in particular for attracting investment in this country. So I'm sure we will have a lot to share, many thoughts to share if we are